Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is John Kearney, and welcome to another episode of the Lore Tower. This third episode, I'm going to change up the schedule a little bit from what I mentioned last time, because if you guys go to Global Comics right now, again, you can get that link in my bio for free. You can go read the second chapter of Ascension Bravo. So today, I wanted to talk about one of those pieces of information from the chapter. I'll save the discussion of the chapter for the end, because first, I want to get into the actual history of the Antikythera Mechanism. Pardon me if I'm butchering it. I'm an Irish boy, I'm not Greek. So you can correct me in the comments below if you want to. But I set up this little presentation because luckily I already had this information from when I was back in college. I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but I took a class called History of Science and Society. And one of the finals that I had to do was to create a podcast on one of the topics that we covered in that class. And what was really cool is I was already writing SPLICER with Ben while I was taking that class, so I had both things on my mind, and I was really inspired to write about this Antikythera mechanism with the partner I had. So I'm taking the script that we had from that podcast, I reworked it a little bit just so I can do this solo and I don't have to call upon my old college partner to do this. Again, thank you, Mike, if you're watching. But today I'm going to take you guys through the Antikythera Mechanism. So as you can see here, this is what they have currently in the Antikythera Museum. If you went there today, you'd be able to see a lot of these pieces, and you'll see more of the photos that I have throughout this presentation. You can see some of the fragments that they have along the bottom side here. You can see the actual Antikythera Mechanism itself. And again, this is the piece that I want to show front and center. You guys will understand why. So the year is 1900. A group of sponge divers working off the small Greek island of Antikythera accidentally stumbles upon a shipwreck. Among the treasures recovered was a hall of statues, some luxury goods, and some artifacts. And there was also this seemingly unremarkable corroded object that would actually turn out to be the topic of our discussion today. For decades, this ancient artifact, which is now known as the Antikythera Mechanism, puzzled historians. They didn't know what it was. They didn't know how it worked because it kind of seemed like it was an object that was out of time. What they were able to conclude from their early investigation is that the Antikythera Mechanism dates back to around the early 1st century BC. It's made of bronze, and it was originally housed in a wooden casing. At first glance, it might have seemed like nothing more than just a collection of metal fragments, but the examination started in 1903 after a good cleaning. That's when they started to discover these really complex series of gears, inscriptions, and dials. These are some of the guys that led the investigation at first. Again, these are some of the dials, some of the inscriptions that you can see. So you can only imagine back in 1903, finding these things in the ocean, in Greece of all places, and you're just trying to come up with an explanation because they are corroded. They're definitely written in ancient Greece, and like this piece right here was fragment 19, so they were dealing with a lot of pieces. I wanted you to be able to appreciate, which is why I added this museum picture here again. The early analysis revealed that it had to be used to track some type of celestial events. They were thinking maybe that it could be like the sun, the moon, eclipses, and due to what we know about the Greeks and what they taught regarding astronomy, it was speculated that maybe it could involve the planets too. The story of the Antikythera Mechanism really gained traction in the 1970s. Thanks to the work of Professor Derek DeSola Price. He conducted a detailed study of the mechanism using radiography. You can see an example of his machine up top right here in the photo, and that's an example of Derek working on it himself there to the left. His research revealed the intricate gear systems within, and he famously described it as a calendar computer. Some of his original sketches are in the middle bottom right there. According to Price, the mechanism featured a front dial showing the zodiac and calendar, along with 2 back dials displaying lunar and eclipse cycles. It had a hand crank that allowed the user to input a date and observe corresponding astronomical phenomena. Price's findings were groundbreaking, challenging previous assumptions about the technological limitations of ancient Greek society. As remarkable as Price's work was, it wasn't without flaws. More recent research was shown that his observations, while pioneering of course, were incomplete. Scholars like Alan Bromley and other modern engineers have re-examined the fragments and proposed alternative reconstructions. Their work reveals even greater complexity than Price may have imagined. And these are some of the modern reconstructions that you could find in the museum today. Now, it was mentioned by the earlier researchers that this thing was probably made out of bronze and held in a wooden casing. You can see that these are mostly made out of, I'm assuming bronze, but maybe it's stainless steel with just a bronze coating. I'm not 100% sure. The smaller picture bottom left is a more true representation of what it may look like. But again, we're only speculating or extrapolating how this thing could be, because the corrosion makes it really hard to actually guess what this may have looked like. You'll be hearing that coming up more in the later research that's discussed in this video. For example, recent studies have identified features suggesting that the Antikythera mechanism could have functioned as a kind of planetarium. By introducing additional epicyclical gears, researchers have hypothesized that it might have tracked the movements of Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. This possibility links the mechanism more closely to a broader Hellenistic tradition of crafting, astronomy, and geometry. So, what's the relevance? For one, it demonstrates a level of engineering sophistication that wouldn't be seen again until the medieval period. The mechanism's dozens of finely crafted gears were arranged with astonishing precision, providing insights into the mathematical and mechanical knowledge of the time. Even more surprising is that the Antikythera mechanism appears to be part of a larger tradition of advanced instrument making. In ancient texts, such as those by Cicero, describe similar devices capable of modeling the cosmos. Yet, this is the only example we have been able to found that even survives. And again, this is pure speculation if this is even the device that Cicero was talking about in the first place. And of course, its purpose has only been speculated at this point. It's still a mystery because, minus Cicero's accounts, there has been no evidence of this except its discovery in the 1900s and the research that has happened so far. Could it have been used for teaching maybe? Navigation? Ritual? Are we kinda getting a predecessor to Johann Kepler, and maybe he was doing it for some astronomy, astrology reasons? What we do know is that its existence forces us to rethink the technological capabilities of these ancient civilizations. Far from being primitive, as they're always described, compared to ourselves, the creators of the Antikythera mechanism had to be pioneers of engineering and astronomy. This isn't something that can just fall into place by itself. It had to be put together. So, in more modern times, Alexander Jones, in his 2017 novel, A Portable Cosmos, summarizes our modern understanding of the Antikythera mechanism and the multiple studies that have been performed since its discovery in the early 1900s. Most of the information that I'm using for this video and that we used for this original podcast has come from this book and a couple of research topics that I'll put in the description below. If you guys haven't so far, please like and subscribe to the video. If you have any questions about what I've been yapping about so far, you could obviously put that down in the comments below. But I digress. Alexander Jones reflects on the research teams utilizing two key pieces of technology in modern times: reflective transformation imaging, also known as RTI, which you could see in the top right, and X-ray computed tomography, which is also known as a CT scan, which you could see two examples of on the left side here. These technologies allow a detailed analysis of the mechanism's internal structure, inscriptions, and the visualization, otherwise unattainable to the naked eye, to understand the big pictures of the mechanism's inner workings. The mechanism's gear system has approximately 30 surviving gears, each serving specific functions related to celestial movements, such as the sun, the moon, and the 5 elder planets, while translating it into observable data. The primary input drive is through an axle on the right side, likely operated by a hand-driven knob or crank. The gear train operates through a series of engagements between gears, which allows for the transfer and multiplication of motion. The system is essential for translating the input motion into the desired output, particularly in astronomical calculations. The various gears engage with one another through their teeth. This again allows for the engagement and thus the transfer of motion from one gear to another. This compound gear system can either multiply or reduce the rotational speed depending on the sizes and configuration of each gear. The mechanism gears down by transferring from the smaller gears to larger gears. This configuration is designed to ensure that the output motion is slower to make it more manageable. That would be crucial for smooth operation in a lot of these astronomical measurements. Now, let's just take a second to look at these things. The numbers in parentheses here, I'm pretty sure is the number of teeth if I remember correctly. And you could tell the bigger the number, the bigger the dial. And you can imagine that the bigger the gear would be, the bigger the dial, it would take a lot longer to rotate, which is that gearing down that they're starting to talk about. In turn, if they tried to gear up, meaning moving from larger gears to smaller gears instead, this might cause more strain on the gears, might cause more jamming in it altogether due to wear and tear on the teeth and whatnot. One of the fascinating things for me personally, this is a picture that I was able to find outside of the book that gave a really good representation of this complex gear system that we're talking about. Because on the left side, this would be the front dial. We'll talk about the front dial and the back dial a little bit more in the video, but you can see how this thing is kind of like sandwiched together here. They have the different celestial bodies color coded with the different gear systems here, so let's just appreciate. Here's the drawings from the book on these different gears as they're going back, and again, here it is in a more 3D representation as it's going from the front dial all the way to the back dial here. Now, one of the most interesting things for me personally was that the outer scale represents days in a year, while the inner scale corresponds to the zodiac signs, but they chose to represent not only their Greek calendar, but also the Egyptian calendar as well. 12 months of the year in the Egyptian, 12 months of the year for what they call the Metonic dial scale. The Egyptian calendar scale ring is displayed in this picture right here, and you can see the different names of the zodiac, as I mentioned, along the dial right there. Now that's just fascinating to me. Now, it's known to history that the Greeks gained a lot of influence from their Egyptian counterparts. I'm not going to go into it here because this is a whole tangent in and of itself, but there is a lot of talk about Thoth's connection to Hermes and Hermes' connection to Pythagoras, and obviously Pythagoras and the whole connection to Plato, the Greek Athens school of thought, so on and so forth. But I don't want to go off on that tangent because I could do that. All right, so as I promised, I want to start talking about the front dial of the Antikythera Mechanism now. This is a really cool artist rendition of the front dial itself that actually has these little beads or marbles that would represent the different planetary and celestial bodies. This one is the drawing from the book itself. The front dial is a unique component that features multiple pointers on a single dial, unlike the back face, which we will see has 5 separate dials with individual pointers. This dial is set within a square plate, positioned approximately 7 centimeters below the top of the back plate and 8.5 centimeters above its bottom edge. The central area of the front dial may contain either a circular opening of about 13 centimeters in diameter or a solid circular piece that fills this space. The front dial operates in conjunction with the back dials. These are 2 examples of the back dials right here, featured uniformly revolving sun and moon pointers. It also includes a large gear that corresponds to the moon's apogee revolution period. The design of this system is a remarkable example of mathematically guided engineering, although it poses risks due to that potential additional load affecting smooth operation in order to account for all of these additional motions of these celestial bodies. But they obviously solve that through the gearing down mechanism that we described earlier. Specifically, I'm going to butcher this name, I'm sorry. The Exeligmos dial completes its cycle at a rate that is 1/12 of that of the Saros dial, achieved through 2 gear pairs driven by the Saros dial's output. Again, displayed in these 2 pictures on the right top side here. Now, the back dial, also known as the Metonic dial, features a pointer that moves along a spiral. It indicates a 19-year lunar calendar cycle. Each complete traversal of the spiral corresponds to a movement on a subsidiary dial. The back dial consists of 5 individual dials, each equipped with a single pointer. This design allows for the tracking of various celestial movements and cycles. The dials are arranged on the back face of the mechanism, with one of the prominent features being the 2 large spiral dials that dominate the top and bottom halves of the back plate. These dials are crucial for the overall functionality of the mechanism as they provide detailed information about the astronomical events. So the most recent study on the mechanism was performed by the UCL Antikythera research team, which was led by Tony Freeth in 2021. Their focus was providing a new analysis of the Antikythera mechanism to propose a new model explaining the front dial by using what's called 3D X-ray technology. And you can see an example of that technology on the bottom here. While giving the researchers the ability to view the gears in greater detail, these scans made an astonishing discovery. Thousands of new text characters hidden inside the fragments It's like they found the user manual written on the back of this thing that no one has been able to read for 2,000 years. In their pictures, you could see how it's partitioned for Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. They highlighted some more of the Greek text that was relevant to their research here. Their study revealed that the mechanism contained a total of 69 gears, showcasing an intricate design that allows for precise astronomical calculations, as has been shown before. The main drive wheel was identified as the central component that orchestrates the movement of all the other gears, enabling the display of these celestial positions. The mechanism was also able to calculate the moon's variable motion using a sophisticated gear train, reflecting the ancient Greeks' understanding of elliptical orbits, even though they are not traditionally given credit in the understanding of this concept explicitly. With the inclusion of the Saros dial, the mechanism can predict solar and lunar eclipses based on a 223-month cycle, demonstrating its advanced predictive capabilities. The mechanism can predict solar and lunar eclipses based on a 223-month cycle, demonstrating its advanced predictive capabilities. In conclusion, the findings from the 2021 study significantly advanced the understanding of the Antikythera mechanism, reinforcing its status as a groundbreaking achievement in the ancient technology and astronomy of the Greek world itself. All right, so again, that was the content that was in the podcast that I needed for a final project in my college course. But I was really happy that I was able to take that course because, as you guys will be able to see, we were able to pull that information as inspiration for SPLICER, as I mentioned earlier. So if you guys go to Global Comics, you guys can read the newest chapter of Ascension Bravo for free. Make sure you read the Grand Game first, but the new issue is called To Be a Hero. This is the cover that Ben did, and again, thank you for killing it on this cover, Ben. I love how this came out. You get to see a crazy shot of Odyssey on the top. You'll get to see how this character is more relevant going forward. Jamin looking like Batman over here, and the topic of our episode today. You guys guessed it, the Antikythera Mechanism. I think Ben did a fantastic one-on-one with this one. Again, we could appreciate it right here. The Antikythera Mechanism in the museum and Ben's wonderful work. Make sure you guys give this a like. I would really appreciate it if you guys can give this a read. Make sure you go check out Ben on his TikTok. Tell him how good of a job he did. All right, I'm gonna skip ahead a few pages here. You guys can check this out on your own time. But here is our topic of discussion, the Antikythera Mechanism in the SPLICER universe. Now, without getting into spoilers, I'm only going to discuss what's revealed on this page so far. You guys can obviously see that this relic is inside of this cube that Jamin is holding. As you could hear from Director Percy right here, the relic has survived 3 ages. It's made from materials that don't even exist anymore. What he's talking about here is the ages of time in Yggdrasil itself. Because remember, this is a story that's taking place in the 3rd age of SPLICER. When we get to the main series, that takes place at the beginning of the 4th age of SPLICER due to the beacon launching, which implies the return of the Ragnarok to the realm. Now, obviously, we have to see how that goes still, but that's what the beacon implies to everybody. And that's what we've said before. Another class that I was able to take inspiration from and pull into the SPLICER series, that way I can give it this Greek authenticity, because one of the goals of my work with SPLICER is to try to, 1, be as creative as I possibly can and have as much fun with this series as I possibly can. But 2, I want to honor the history that came before us, because all of the great artists that we can think of, the great authors, the great poets, the great writers, they had their inspiration from somewhere, and everybody can follow their rabbit holes back to the great work of ancient Greece. And Ben and I really want to honor that legacy. We want to honor this history, and we want to honor the foundation that they laid for our modern society. Unfortunately, I couldn't find all of my notes from Greek 213, but I was able to find my midterm paper. So I thought it was really cool, and the timing was really convenient, I thought, because this midterm, I had a couple options that I can go from, but I picked to write on one of the topics of the Iliad. I'll just read the opening paragraph so you guys understand where I'm coming from. It was declared by Zeus that his will was the end of the age of demigods, and he would kill as many mortals as possible to accomplish this. After 10 years of suffering from the Trojans versus the Achaeans, the god gave the conflict a chuckle while partying in Ethiopia. Achilles damned the Greeks to lose in battle and to be mowed down at their ships in his rage, leading to Zeus adding this to his will. This request leads to the death of Patroclus and ultimately Troy falling when Achilles kills Hector in vengeance. Clearly, the suffering of mortals is not a concern to the gods, especially since the gods are immortal. However, did Troy deserve to suffer so much? Did Troy deserve to be eradicated? In the Iliad, what this is kind of talking about is the transition of ages, the transition of cycles as Greek history progressed. Because they had the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Iron Age, and then the age they were currently in. I forget exactly what they called that. I should remember that. But Zeus tried to end humanity with the Great Flood, but without getting into it, that didn't exactly work. So now he's trying to end demigods, and his tactic for doing this was Troy. I'm not going to recap the entire movie of Troy, because obviously with the Odyssey coming out right now, there's a lot of content going on when it comes to that level of Greece. So I'll let somebody else with a lot more research into that topic go over that. But if you guys want to discuss any of it or anything that I remember from my class back in June of 2024, I'll absolutely talk about it in the comments down below. But again, without getting into too much spoiler territory, I love this idea. I really resonated with this idea. So I wanted to try to pull this into SPLICER as much as I possibly could. So my inspiration is, we're in the third age of SPLICER right now. In Olympia, the first age is going to be known as the Age of Heroes. This is something that I've actually been working on in the expansion of the Atlas of Olympia that I mentioned in episode 1 of the podcast. But that's when you're going to get all the stories you're familiar with. The 12 Labors of Hercules. This is when Perseus went and slayed Medusa, Jason and the Argonauts, the whole 9 yards. Any hero that you can think of from the Age of Heroes, they're going to be relevant to the first age of Olympia in the SPLICER universe. Again, I don't want to get into it too much here. We all know how I am with spoilers. I want the story to flesh this out. But since you guys are here, helping me with this extra content, helping me discuss this with you guys, I just wanted to give you that little extra treat. Because of course, with the title of this current chapter, Be a Hero, and again, you can go to Global Comics for free. I have the links in my bio. You guys can check out Ascension Bravo. When you're done checking out these 2 chapters, that'll absolutely prepare you to hop into the main series of SPLICER that you can conveniently find down below. And then we've got all of the content here. Here's the current edition of the Atlas, as I mentioned. We're currently up to chapter 12, Vengeful Spirit. But thank you guys for joining me in my discussion today of episode 3, the Antikythera Mechanism, here in the Lore Tower. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe if you can. I'm pretty sure I have to say this kind of thing for the algorithm, but oh well. If not, you guys can catch us in the War Gods Discord. You can find that in the link in my bio as well. Please go support Benny on all of his social media. You can find that in the link tree that is also in the bio that I have in my link. But I hope you all have a good day. I love you, and I'll see you next time.